And so I'm very happy to introduce the author of Myth of Lost, Marc.
This is going to be a lot of fun tonight. You know, a lot of us are a little down because Lost is ending on Sunday. But, you know, we might be going through a little bit of Lost withdrawal, but I think tonight's going to be the antidote. Because the theme of tonight's event, which is the philosophy of Lost, the whole idea is that basically, how has Lost helped us to understand the world that we live in? That it's more than just a show. That this is something that could really teach us real-world wisdom that we can take in our lives. Lost tackles almost everything. I can't think of a single spiritual principle that hasn't been covered in some way on this show. So, I mean, just to run down a really quick list of some of the more major themes that they've covered. Fate versus free will. The idea that everybody's connected. Taking a leap of faith. The clues that the universe gives us. The law of attraction. Usually people look at me funny when I say that one because they don't usually see it. That's like the whole idea of The Secret. But we'll get to that in round two a little bit. I'll kind of show you why it was in there. We don't even realize how much it's really affected us. I mean, I think the average person wasn't really living their life thinking, you know what, I could make this choice right now. But if I make a different choice, I wonder what the version of my life would be if that was the choice. Is there a version of my life right now that has made different choices that exists? You know, like the job that you took, is there a version of your life where you didn't take that job, you took a different job? Or is your life going to kind of course correct, and if you didn't take that job, you're going to lose that job because you weren't meant to take it to begin with? It's really fascinating, and the show brings up all these themes that really makes us think. So my point is that it's more than just a show. Lost is like a modern-day myth. And you know, when we think of mythology, generally we think of Greek mythology or Norse mythology, Egyptian mythology, all this kind of stuffy stuff that we learned in school. But there's modern day myths that are occurring today, even like Star Wars and The Matrix. These are our myths. 1,000 years from now, you know, when these futuristic kids are cracking up textbooks, they're going to be like, oh, the Star Wars test. I can't believe it. Oh, not the Matrix thing. Did you get the Cliff Notes for the Matrix mythology? And that's basically what it's going to be. This is our time, so we don't really see it as this old stuffy stuff. So, you know, some people think, when they think of the old mythology, they think of these like really wise old people that helped create it. And you know, when you think of the Lost writers, yeah, they're kind of geeky, but you don't really think of them as writing this mythology that's going to be so important. It's going to be around in 1,000 years from now. But I really do believe that writers and artists and poets and musicians, they're like modern-day shaman. They're basically, they're picking up the energies of the collective consciousness and they're translating it for us mere mortals. You know, those that are fans of Lost, you might be wondering, why was it that Lost kept having all these little allusions to the Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland with white rabbits and the man behind the curtain, all this kind of stuff? Because that's the root myth. And that's why I really believe that Sunday night we have to get a twist. There has to be some kind of twist. I hope it's not a dream, but I hope it's something that we kind of get the whole idea that it's an illusionary world somehow because it relates to this world being illusionary. So you've probably noticed that Lost has all these clues in the show. For example, songs like Shambhala by Three Dog Night, and we're going to see that in a clip in a little bit about this mystical land. Another hidden clue on the show is backwards talk. When, played backwards by my fellow Lost Geeks, turned out to be that only fools are enslaved by time and space. So another hint about the whole idea that this is that there's going to be something going on with time, that you can escape time. So just even apart from the clues that are hidden in the show, there are themes of the episodes. The whole idea of the leap of faith. What we're basically seeing is that Hurley, the everyman of, Hurley is us. He's the guy that always asks the question, he wants to see what's going on, and he finds a Dharma van on the island, and he is obsessed with getting this van started.
You're not gonna drive down that. You're gonna jump start it. You guys are gonna push it, and then on the way down, I'm gonna pop the clutch and get it started.
You see those rocks? All you're gonna do is crash into those real fast.
That would be a good time, Billy. Like right now!
There is no curse. Make your own luck.
Hey!
Make your own luck.
There is no curse!
This is the leap of faith. And you know, you always taught that the idea is if you believe, you'll make things happen. But we saw that it wasn't enough to believe, that he had to take the leap of faith. And that's what he did. And the whole idea of the leap of faith, it's in the Bible, it's in a lot of movies. What is this message really telling us? It's that it's not enough to believe, you have to act as though what you believe is really going to happen. we're used to now watching Lost and looking for clues. All of us kind of like, look, what's this mean? What's this mean? And we don't even realize it, but we now do this in life because I remember when I used to play Tetris a lot when I was in college. And when I was done playing Tetris, I would walk out on the street. And I remember once I saw these two cars parked really close to each other. And I remember walking by and thinking, yeah, I could fit a T between those two cars. I could fit a T. And then later on, I used to play Doom, and I was over at my friend's house late at night, and then I would walk home by myself, and down every corridor, I was like, is there a monster? You get in the zone. It's kind of like the Karate Kid. Like, you're watching the Karate Kid, and poor Daniel's son, he's doing wax on, wax off, and paint the fence and sand the floor, but it's not until Mr. Miyagi comes out, and he says, no, you've been learning this whole time. You didn't realize. That's what I'm hoping that all you guys are now realizing how much smarter you are now for watching Lost. You wouldn't have picked up a physics textbook or studied all these spiritual themes, or some of you would. But most of us, it's a little too. But now we know about all these ideas, and we don't even realize it. I think that Lost has absolutely changed television forever. I don't think it could have existed without the internet. It's almost required to have the internet to research some of these ideas, because if you're just watching Lost on DVD alone by yourself, you're missing half the experience. It's kind of like going to Rocky Horror and watching it alone in the theater by yourself. Half the experience is the audience participation and things like this, where we kind of get the meaning from it. The question is Lost alive? I kind of look at it that the Lost viewers, the Lost fans, we're kind of like the candidates. And the show has almost kind of like, it's sort of like chosen us. And there's something that we were meant to do. And what is it leaning towards? I mean, why is Lost coming out now? And I think it's kind of relating to the whole consciousness that's starting to begin with 2012, whether you believe in the mind thing or not. There definitely seems to be something that's happening. Everything seems to be going faster and faster, and it's leading to this one kind of moment that's going to be happening. Some people kind of think that we live in this time now where there's this veil, and it's kind of blinding us from reality. But it seems to be dissolving. And there's other ways that Lost is teaching us about the world that we live in. I think this is very interesting. The whole thing that happened with Dharma. Dharma was the hippie group that was basically doing scientific experiments on the island, and what they were doing is they were drilling really deep down to try and find this energy source that would be very powerful, and unfortunately the energy was too powerful, and it exploded, and it caused this incident. Does that seem familiar to anyone what's going on in the world right now? I'm not saying that Lost is causing these things to happen. I'm saying that all these things have already been written, and it's giving us a heads up. We Lost fans are a little more in the know, and specifically with Lost with the sideways flashes, that kind of relates to the whole idea of the many worlds theory, and I think there's real wisdom in that too. I mean, this is what kind of gets back to the whole law of attraction idea, that what if time really is an illusion, and it's not that we're actually moving through time, it's that every single possibility already exists right now. So every choice you didn't make, that reality exists right now. But even in your life, at this moment, every time you make a choice, you step into that reality that already exists, and everything around you moves around it. Yeah, it already exists based on that decision. So you might ask, well, if I'm creating my own reality, why does so much crap always happen to me? That's because unfortunately, man usually always goes to the negative thought. When you have a challenge coming up, are you thinking about how you're going to succeed and everyone's going to be applauding, or are you like, oh God, what's going to happen if the DVD thing doesn't work? And even on a scientific level, I think that this could happen as well. People know about what's going on with CERN and their Large Hadron Collider, that they're doing these experiments to smash particles together, trying to recreate the Big Bang. So what happens if something really does occur, and we're kind of, something happens with time, and it gets crazy, and it gets kind of thrown off, and we see that's an illusion. The world would be thrown into panic. Everyone would go crazy except for Lost fans. Lost fans will get on the news, and they're going to tell everyone, hey everybody, just listen up. Time is like a record. And right now, it's just kind of skipping. You might be look for bloody noses. Bloody noses, everyone. If you have a bloody nose, all you have to do is find a constant. What's a constant? We know all these themes, all these physics themes now. We don't even realize it with proxies and constants and variables. We don't even realize how much we've learned in the show. And in the end, if the world goes to hell, they say the meek shall inherit. Maybe that's us. Maybe that's the Lost fans. We're going to help save the world. And with that thought in mind, here comes the crazy round, round 3. I hope you guys enjoy it tonight.